Can you believe it's been 32 years since the Baby Vanishes premiered? Yeah, I wasn't even alive at that point. The Baby Vanishes premiered as episode 6 of season 3 of Rugrats. And let me just say that Rugrats is definitely a show I remember watching as a kid despite it being a little before my time. Hell, I even had Decades in Diapers on VHS tape when I was younger. But the Baby Vanishes is not an episode I remember extremely well. And after doing some research, I was surprised to find that this episode serves as a bit of an origin story of sorts for Angelica. Rugrats isn't really famous for its amazing world building, so I was shocked to find that this episode provides a bit of a look into Angelica as a character and why she turned out to be the absolute jerk that she's famous for being. And yes, there is an actual reason. This video is a bit of a special one as well, because watcher Tyler Caswell requested me to cover the Baby Vanishes for over the past 4 months. And with their birthday right around the corner, I wanted to show some love and finally cover this episode. So let's all wish a happy birthday to Tyler, and let's have some fun. If you have any other episodes or shows you want me to cover, be sure to let me know in the comments. And as always, if you liked this video, maybe throw us a like and subscribe. I will actually go to the zoo and release the penguins if you do. All right, let's dive in. Angelica is messing with all of her mother's expensive makeup when her dad, Drew, catches her. For a second, it looks like he's going to do some actual parenting, but as soon as Angelica bats her eyelashes, he folds and helps her clean up before her mom and his wife gets home. The dad asks Angelica to not mess with their $95 per ounce vanishing cream, and she asks what's that even for? He tells her that adults use it to hide unsightly blemishes, and she asks him if it actually works.
Does it really work?
Well, no, but your mother likes to pretend it does.
And right then and there, Angelica hatches an evil plan. All of the adults meet up at the Pickles house to play some board games, and of course, they all bring their kids as well. Before starting the game, they actually decide to take a child behavior test to see if they're raising spoiled brats. And it's a small detail, but the test is actually written by Dr. Lipschitz, the same doctor that Dee Dee goes to when she's having her baby Dill in the Rugrats movie.
Charles and I found this Dr. Lipschitz quiz in Childish Behavior Monthly.
Welcome to the Werner P. Lipschitz Center for Holistic Birthing.
And while they're taking the test, Angelica starts to hassle Tommy and Chucky. She convinces them to sneak into the kitchen to steal some chocolate pie by using the vanishing cream to turn invisible, full well knowing that it's bullshit and the cream doesn't work. She's setting them up for failure, and that's pretty rude. Back with the parents, we hear the last 2 questions on the behavior test.
SWAT team responded to one of your child's temper tantrums in the past 6 months. Has your youngster made at least 2 of the last 3 major purchasing decisions in your household?
Dee Dee is upset that she marked 1 out of the 50 questions, and Mr. Finster says, hey, that's all right. The doctor says it's completely normal to say yes to up to 10 questions. The parents then all lock in on Drew, who actually marked 49.5 of the boxes as yes.
49? Well, actually, 49 and a half.
Okay, so Angelica has made some of the previous major purchase decisions in the household, and she's also had the SWAT team called on her? That's wild, I'm gonna say it. Drew starts to break down after realizing he's been spoiling Angelica and it's all his fault. But before he full-on crashes out, Dee Dee says there's a solution. She says that Dr. Lipschitz magazine advises that children acting out crave attention for their negative behavior, so they decide to ignore Angelica entirely. Back with the babies, Angelica steals a jar of mud from Miss Pickles' makeup collection and slaps some of it on Tommy and Chucky and tells them they're invisible now. And the blue color of this cream is giving me a visceral reaction, and I can't pinpoint why. At first, Tommy and Chucky aren't buying it, but Angelica pretends like she can't see them, and they soon become believers and run off to the kitchen to get the chocolate pie, while Angelica watches and waits for them to fail. To her surprise, though, the babies actually steal the pie successfully without being detected, and Angelica believes it's because the vanishing cream actually works. But the babies actually just got lucky, since the adults were distracted going over the rules of the board game when they pulled off their heist. The babies fucking devour the chocolate pie like it's nothing, and it's making me kinda hungry, I can't lie. Angelica decides that the vanishing cream only works against adults, and that's why she's still able to see Tommy and Chucky herself. She then gets Tommy and Chucky to lather the entire jar of mud on her, and Angelica instantly becomes a member of the Blue Man group. Get that bitch on the drums. Angelica then marches into the kitchen to fuck with the adults, and Drew is about to crash out before Dee Dee reminds him to just ignore her. Angelica runs up to the table and snatches the score pad from the adults, and she then forcefully rips the glasses off of Dee Dee's face and slams them onto Stu's face, completely interrupting the game at this point. Angelica then kicks it up a notch and pours Stu's carrot juice all over his cock and balls. Drew is about to have a mega crash out at this point, but Dee Dee tells him it's important to follow through with a punishment once you started it. And just then, Angelica slams an entire bowl of dog food all over Drew's head, then cuts his tie in half for good measure. She then laughs like a little bitch. And yeah, I get it, she's an infant, but if she's gonna be dishing out heat, she's gonna get some heat fired right back at her. Dee Dee tries to lighten the mood and heads off to get the chocolate pie when Angelica comes to the conclusion that the adults can't even hear her since they didn't hear her giggling a moment earlier. She starts running around Drew making mocking faces and noises at him before admitting to something truly evil.
You didn't lose your office papers. I threw them out the car window on the freeway because you made me eat broccoli.
Upon hearing that bombshell, Drew passes out from what can only be described as a stress-induced aneurysm. Angelica runs off to brag to the babies about everything she got away with when Dee Dee comes in the room and sees that the chocolate pie has been fully chomped and blames Angelica. She then gives cookies to Tommy and Chucky, but continues to pretend not to see Angelica. Angelica starts crashing out because she really wanted that damn cookie, and that's relatable. But Dee Dee sticks to her guns and doesn't acknowledge Angelica. Back with the adults, Drew is still pissed over Angelica throwing out the business files because they were for a multi-million-dollar account.
It was a multi-million-dollar account!
Drew, she's just a child.
Look, losing a multi-million-dollar client would have broken Drew's marriage into pieces. It would have tanked the company he worked at. It would have been such a massive issue. And after getting himself fully fired up, Drew decides to find Angelica and go ballistic on her. But just as he walks up to her from behind, he hears her telling Tommy and Chucky how sorry she is and how she loves her daddy. Drew instantly folds, just like in the beginning of the episode, and takes Angelica home to get her cleaned up. And on the way out, Angelica starts listing different shit she wants him to buy her.
A Rocco Mr. X exploding smash-up doll. A Beverly Hills Cynthia lunchbox. The complete samurai lizard action set.
And that right there, that scene, is the perfect example of why Angelica turned out to be the spoiled brat that she is, her pushover of a father. Drew is never willing to follow through with punishing Angelica for any of her terrible actions. In just this episode alone, she convinces Tommy and Chucky to steal the dessert that Drew brought for the adults, covers Drew in dog food, cuts his expensive tie right off his neck, and let's not forget, she literally lost him a multi-million-dollar account, and he just brushes it all off like it's nothing. She could launch a nuclear attack on all of mankind, and he would still find a way not to punish her. And there lies the problem. Drew himself. Never following through with punishing your kid and going as far as to rewarding them with treats when they do act up is unimaginably damaging to the child's psyche. Angelica spends her entire childhood acting up, doing terrible things, and then getting whatever she wants from her father. Drew's reactions do nothing but reinforce the bratty behavior Angelica displays, and it's a downward cycle from there. And honestly, I love that a show as childish as the Rugrats can give us a plotline centering around the adults, and it feels like the concept of the episode itself is pretty adult overall. I really dig the way the parents and the children children plots intertwine in this one, and I really enjoyed getting a look into Angelica as a character and getting to see some explanation for why she acts the way she does. But enough of me yapping. What do you guys think of The Baby Vanishes? I know a lot of you probably weren't even alive when this one first premiered, but whether you remember this one from your childhood or not, let me know what you thought in the comments. Let's kick it. And if you stuck around this long, maybe check out my other videos and subscribe. I will literally rip my pants off at the public shopping mall if you do. And to my channel members and Patreon members, a giant sloppy shout out to every one of you. The haiku I prepared for you today should really wet your palate. Hand slaps hard, skin burns, red print glows across your ass. You'll feel that for days. All right, thank you so much for the continued support. It means so much to me from the bottom of my heart. I can't explain it. I can't express it. Thank you. To everyone still here, how's it going? Hope you're all having a good day, good night, whatever the hell it is. Check out some other videos. Do something. I don't know. Go for a walk. All right, thanks for listening.